So for today's video, we're going to do a live comparison of the 9.5 SGC Mantle compared to the PSA 10. It's really cool seeing two of the top 4 known Mantles out there in the world. Now the one in the Diamondbacks collection will not be selling anytime soon, at least to my knowledge. It's personal collection and have some of the greatest cards out there. However, this 9.5 is available. If you haven't watched my whole video on the history of the 9.5, I'll put it down in the description over here. What I think is really cool is they have the original screw down. They also have the letter from Mr. Mint, Alan Rosen, and they have it in presentation over here where you can see pretty close. So I'll put it on video and then I'll also narrate over my GoPro. So over here, first on the right, they have that original screw down, which is crazy to me because we were always so against screw downs right now, but the 80s and 90s was completely different. You see the sticker price at $57,500. He ended up selling it for $50,000 in New York, so took nice $7,500 off the card. Then we also have that letter, which was signed in 1991. So you guys can see that over there. This looks like a photocopy of it, so obviously not the original letter. And then we have the finest known example. So you guys can see on here, the Rosen Fine 9.5 mint. So let's take a look at the corners on it. I'm gonna do a centering tool to compare the centering of this compared to the color on it is vivid, but it looks really good. Definitely packed fresh. Now the back is pretty skewed. I can't see it fully, so it's gonna make it a little bit impossible. There are scans online, so we'll end up putting that over there. I'm gonna take it also on my main camera so you guys can see it a little bit closer.
Right, okay. I'll tell them what you do at the end of the day.
I'll wait till the end of the day. That's like the same. What are we talking about here? Oh, yeah.
So now we just have a short walk away until we get to the Collector's Universe Pavilion. Over there, they have the PSA 10 Mantle. Now I did showcase this also in my Diamondbacks collection video. I don't know for sure if that was published before this or after this. You guys are watching the channel, so you'll end up seeing it. But let's see a live review of the PSA 10. Get a little bit closer. All right, so this is an older label Mantle, and again, it's so tough to see these things without seeing the scans as close. The centering isn't as strong as the other one, so initially I think the other one looks a little bit nicer centering wise. Surface, we're gonna put up pictures side to side after here so you guys can see that. We're gonna go around to the back as well and get you some video on my main camera. You guys can see the back on this side of things. Alright, so I pulled in images of both Mantles from the web. The only one I couldn't find a back picture of was the 5210 from the Diamondbacks collection, so I just took a picture from the video. Not the quality I'd like compared to these, but we'll talk about that in a second. Before though, I do need to tell you guys about the two different types of 52 Mantles, because that'll explain some of the differences between the cards. See, there's a type 1 and a type 2. So how you know if a Mantle is a type 1 or 2, there's a few different methods. I'll just show you guys 3 real quick ones. The first one to look for is like a small white dot over here. If there's a white dot, it's going to be a type 2. If not, you're looking at a type 1. Next, you need to look at the Yankees logo in the box over here. You guys can see this one right over here is a type 1. It has the black border all across over here. Type 2, because there's no border or very, very little in comparison. You guys can see right there at the bottom. And then the other thing to look at is the bottom left corner of the black. You can see over here in the type 2, this goes over here at a right angle, looks nice. And then over here, this one is actually rounded. So little knowledge on mantles. I will make a video explaining the two different types one day. But I just wanted to throw that out there in case some people were wondering why they looked a little bit different. So with that in mind, here's the two cards side by side. Again, they look, I mean, at a point, like once a card gets past an 8 or 9, there's a lot of subjectivity to it, at least in my opinion. And they do look both really nice. What I will say, and I think I saw it as well when I was at the show, I think this has a little bit of a diamond cut. And for the 52 as a PSA 10, like you can see over here, the thickness on the side. Compare that down over here. Like it looks a bit thicker. And like even over here, this looks thinner than it is over here. This is also a little crooked, the imagery on it. And just to show you guys, like I have a line tool in here just to show you how everything lines up, right? So like this is the slab, like it's centered lined, but like going across, and it's so subtle, right? But like you can see there's a little bit over here. It's not perfectly straight. And even going over here to the side, we started right over here. This goes straight up. So a little bit on over there compared to the SGC example. You guys can see this going across as well. So I think there's a slight diamond cut. Like it, don't get me wrong, it looks really, really nice. But centering wise on the front, I'm going to give it to the SGC 9.5 over the PSA 10 Mantle. Now on the back, this is a different story. So the 9.5 SGC is shifted upwards. You guys can see a little bit spacing right over here compared to a lot on the bottom. But the PSA 10 one, at least from the imagery, you can see that there's a lot more spacing over here on the top. So I think this is better centered on the back, but like as a buyer of vintage cards, I'd rather have something that looks nicer on the front because most people don't look at the back as much. And a card like this, I know is a whole nother different league. There's a lot of other people looking at this type of stuff. A lot of things I probably won't know because it's behind the scenes, but I like the centering in 9.5 better, especially on the front.